Hello, hello. Happy Friday night. How are you? Hope you're well. Happy Bandcamp Friday to all of you out there. I hope everyone is well. Good to see Kazuki in the stream already. Aaron Drums, Gunky Zip, Synth Chris, Tim Wheeler. What's up? Hope you guys are having a rad Friday. I'm feeling particularly decent today. I was not feeling great yesterday. But yeah, things are looking good today. Gunky Zip, how are you? Oh, I think I already saw you in there. Okay. Anyway, I might say hello multiple times because I get sidetracked pretty easily. But we got a really action-packed Bandcamp Friday today. Similar, maybe even more than last month. Like the last 3 months, including this month, it's just been like this packed smorgasbord of rad tunes. So I'm pretty stoked for tonight. I hope you're stoked as well. This is obviously the last month of the year, meaning the last Bandcamp Friday of the year. However, I have sufficient, I don't know, I wouldn't say sufficient evidence. I have a high level of speculation that Bandcamp Friday is going to continue in the new year. And let's see if I can call up my reasoning for this, my reasoning for thinking this. Confirm login. I might not be able to do this quickly. I might just be wasting time. I think I'm wasting time. Yeah, whatever. Anyhow, I had an email from Bandcamp a couple days ago saying, hey, it's going to be Bandcamp Friday again. They're pretty good at letting you know. And the way things were worded, it was in such a way that the assumption is that it's going to continue. And I wish I could just pull it up and read it out for you, but I can't seem to find it. Oh, wait, maybe it's in promotions. Let's see. Bam, 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 bam. Ah, here we go. Bam. And yeah, let's go to it. Desktop, bottom right. Great. So a friendly reminder that the next Bandcamp Friday is just in a few days on Friday, December 2nd. Details here, and please help us spread the word. So my suspicion is that Bandcamp Friday has been such an incredible vehicle for promoting the platform that they're going to continue with it. It was originally a response for COVID for musicians that couldn't tour, who were taking a significant hit in their, their live musical endeavors. So it was a Bandcamp just saying like, hopefully, you can kind of treat this as a little bit of a cash cow, because the thing about Bandcamp Friday is Bandcamp waives all of their fees. So artists take all. I'm sure most of you know this, but for those of you who don't, but the details here, if we go to this page, it says on the first Friday of every month, we waive our revenue share, all that kind of stuff. The next Bandcamp Friday is December 2nd, as always, has the details. And then if you read through it all, it doesn't say anything about it stopping or this being the last one. And it used to say that. It used to kind of prompt you in the language that it's like, oh, this is the last one of the year. And that's kind of how it went down last year. And then at the last minute, they're like, yeah, we're going to keep going with it. But it was uncertain up until the finish line, up until December last year. This year, there is no mention of it stopping at all. And when I went to the Bandcamp meetup here in Toronto, there was a Bandcamp event. And myself, Aaron Drums, and we met up with a couple other people there. But myself and Aaron Drums went there, and they did a presentation. They talked all about the platform and whatnot, and they talked a little bit about Bandcamp Friday. And it sounded like it was such a positive thing for the platform that there's no sign of it stopping. Although they did not say specifically that it is not stopping or that it is continuing. It just, everything kind of alluded to it continuing. So fingers crossed that it continues. So that's what's going on there. Let's go back to the big camera. I call it big camera, little camera. The scenes we got going here. But we got a lot to get through today. So we're going to tear through it, and I'm going to focus more on the chat later at the end of getting through all the bands. For those of you who might be your first time on the Bandcamp Friday streams, we preview the tracks. We listen to about a minute of the track, and then I drop the link into the chat. And if you'd like to follow up with that artist, feel free. All revenue goes to the artist other than the PayPal processing fee, which is a very small amount. So it's a fabulous time and platform to support your favorite artists or to support new artists. If you discover new artists tonight, we typically focus on newer artists or artists from our Bandless and Bunn music communities. So, but some of them are going to be new to you. Some of them you're going to be like, hey, I know that person. But we're going to kick it off here. I'm just going to do one last little, check on the chat here. Rose is in there. Hello. I'm going to say some last minute hellos. Just Johnny, how you doing? Good to see you there. Marauder Music, how are you, brother? Kazuki Hiratani. Oh, actually, Marauder Music, there's more to this here, but I just want to do a little shout out while we have an opportunity. But Marauder Music sent me this. I'm making a little bit of a video on it. It is the PD1 Pirate Drive, and it has this gorgeous little note on the back. Brother Bunn, thank you for all you do, your pal Cos. So seeing as I see you there, thank you, Cos. I'm doing a little piece on this and going to get it out there. Hopefully help the cause along. The cause for the cause. Get it? I guess the lighting isn't the greatest. But anyway, yeah, sweet tone boxes. Anyhow, hellos, Anthony Nieto, sorry. Thomas Powell, my brother. Synth Chris. I think I already said hello to Chris, but it's always cool to say hello many times to Chris. And I think we got everyone for the time being. Anyhow, I hope everyone's well. I hope you're ready for today's Bandcamp Friday. It's pretty action-packed, and I want to get through this so I can hang out in the chat for a reasonable amount of time. So today's big kickoff is a member of the community. Some of you are gonna recognize this fella. It is SHeath, and this one's interesting. It's got a little bit of an interesting story. This is a track that Sean recorded with the guitar that he made. So this is a video that he dropped today, and we'll play a little bit of it.
I have no idea how this thing is going to sound. Welcome back to my build video of my classical guitar. It's day number 3 here, and I'm not
going to play the whole thing, but I will drop the link into the chat. It's a great video. It's pretty funny, and he's quite the personality. But he built this guitar, and we're going to listen to what he created on the guitar and the guitar itself. It's a baritone classical guitar, and yeah, check it out. wonder if he planned it out knowing that we only play about a minute of every track. This is perfectly timed. You got the whole track in there, which is cool. I dropped the link in there. Sorry about the little shuffle of the windows when I was grabbing that link, but I'll also grab the link of the, of the video itself. And let's go back to the big camera here. But guitar sounds good. And if you watch the video, you can look at the guitar, like how it was designed. It's actually an interesting body design. You know, it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but it is definitely interesting, and it seems to sound quite good. So pretty stoked on that. And the link is in there for the music as well as the video. A few more people showing up to the chat. Lamond, I see you in there. How are you? Good to see you, man. And Ed Sweetman, how are you? Right on, building guitars. Yeah, there's a few more of you crazy people, you crazy builders out there. It's so wild. It's something I always sort of wanted to do, but I was like, that takes so much time, and I already don't have enough time to play music. So yeah. So we're gonna queue up the next one here. And switching cameras, going to the small camera here. And this next one comes to us from Kazuki Hiratani, and this is his Nekravol project. Kazuki is coming to us from New Zealand, way out on the other side of the world from me, but maybe on the same side of the world as you, depending on where you're tuning in from. I believe maybe, is Gunky Zip not from out there somewhere? I think so. I kind of get some of the members confused sometimes. But anyhow, this is a new, more aggressive track from Kazuki. And do I have my gain set? I got to set it down here. I turned it up for Sean. And let's get right into it. It's a fun one. Fading out right when it gets even more interesting. But that's by design. If you're like, what happens next? I've got the link in there for you to check it out. For those of you who don't know, we don't play full tracks, but we get enough in there for you to get curious. Excellent work, Kazuki. You're always crushing the cool jams. And Kazuki has actually 2 new tracks for us today. So we're going to get to the other one a little bit later. That's a even funner one in a different way, different kind of fun. C920. That's the camera that I use for this. It's very lo-fi. Bam. Where is... there's got to be a better way here. There we go. Back to the chat. Thomas Powell, you wish your classical went that low? Well, SHeath can build you one. Cranky Dragon, how are you, man? Good to see you. And Titanosaur, amazing. all these like mythical animals coming out. You animals, you. Good to see you guys. Yeah, that was a fun track by Kazuki. Kazuki does so much, like such a wide range of cool things. And I highly recommend checking out his whole Bandcamp offering because, it's kind of, he doesn't sound like Boris, but it's sort of like Boris. Like he just does whatever is interesting to him. And, some things he's more involved with, other things he's more like reckless and, wild about. He's just like a wild creative dude. So definitely check out his profile if you have a moment, but we're moving along. And this next one comes to us. I got to reset my gain and all that. So I'll talk while I'm doing that. Next one comes to us from Daryl from New York, Queens, New York. So people coming from the motherland of creativity and art and fashion, the birthplace of, abstract art, or at least, the heyday, the pinnacle of abstract art. But, he's got a track for us, and, Dărlington, Daryl Dărlington, Buenas Vibras, Más Grande Demo. I don't know if I'm saying that with the appropriate Spanish accent, but I'm kind of using my French chops to get that. My mouse is dying. Of course it's dying. Come on back. Come back to me. Is it totally dead? Do I have to get a wired mouse? I think I do. I can't do anything right now. Apologies. Bear with me. Whoa. This new space is very tight. It's quite a bit tighter than the old space. I love it. I'm just thankful to have any space whatsoever, but it is a little bit. Is this upside down? It doesn't seem to be going. There we go. A Satechi mouse. There we go. Will not fail because there are no batteries. All right, Dărlington. I apologize, Dărlington, if you happen to be in the stream. Here we go. Carried away here. I like that track. So that is some jams from Dărlington. I highly recommend digging into the track. The whole track is really interesting. It's got like I I'm not exactly sure, Darlington. I see that you're in the chat there. If you could let us know kind of like where you're coming from in terms of influences, it gives me a sense that you're maybe a little bit interested in math rock, maybe a little bit interested in sort of jazz rock fusion kind of stuff, maybe none of the above. New York as a music city can come with like a lot of really cool influences. Like there's like, what is that? Jazz? They're like a new fangled kind of jazz thing. They're really interesting. I think they're called Little Women or Lil Women. And it's a New York young hip jazz kind of thing, but it's its own thing. So maybe you're tied into that scene. I'd love to know. Really cool stuff. We got a couple things sort of along these lines lined up for tonight. So I'm pretty stoked on that. I dropped the link into the chat, so you can follow up with that. I don't play full tracks for those of you just joining. I noticed there's a few folks who maybe have never been in the stream before. So we only play samples, and it's up to you to follow up with it. Big camera time. Look at that. I'm going to put the gain back up to -7.5. Perfect number. A few new folks in there. Oh, Yune, how are you? Oh, you like that mouse death? Like brutal mouse death. Yeah, your weekend is destroyed. I'm sorry. And Marauder, my Linux wireless mouse never dies. Yeah, my mouse, it dies because it's a 20-year-old Mac mouse. Maybe not 20 years, maybe 15 years. It's like the very first ever version of the Magic Mouse. And I refuse to buy new things because, yeah, anyway. Anyhow, moving along to the next one. We got a lot to get through here. I'm going to stop wasting voice. It's another track from the community. They're all coming from the community today, so that's pretty cool. I'm going to change over here to the camera. This is my pal KYRO. KYRO's coming to us straight out of Sweden, and he's been, he and I have been connected since the very early days of the Bunn on the internet. Talented dude, does everything himself. It's another detail that I think is probably important about today is the majority of the things that we're going to be listening to are written, performed, and recorded by one person. Some of them are collaborations. Occasionally a band will be in there. We're not against bands, but we definitely celebrate the solo creator. So KYRO is definitely that. And this is a track that he just put out a couple weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago. It's called The Polar Bear, straight out of Sweden. It's very fitting, but check it out. That is The Polar Bear by Mr. KYRO. KYRO is his name. And whatchamacallit, he's got a bunch of tracks on there, and there's quite a bit of variety on there. And let me see here. I just want to do a quick look. Yeah, this track right here is pretty interesting. It's a short. It's more of an experiment more than it is a track, but it's a pretty cool one. Just a little heads up. I'm not going to play it right now. That's up to you. If you want to follow up with the artists, I dropped the links into the chat, and you can click away and check it out and support. You know, if you find it really awesome and you're like, I need this in my life every day, highly recommended if you feel so inclined. But we're going to move on to the next one. One last note on KYRO's thing is like really well produced. I've kind of like listened to his like progression of producing, and it's getting really good. So resetting the gain here back up to minus 7.5, 7.2. That'll work. And this next one comes to us from another member of the community, Mr. Bag of Schmidt. I love that screen name. It's fantastic. Anyhow, this is a cover track, and it is a Carly Rae Jepsen, I believe, is the original artist. Does it say? Yeah, Carly. Another. This is my favorite song by her. Okay, great. So Bag of Schmidt, he does do his own original material as well. I think this Bandcamp is only... Oh no, Solar Dream is like his own music. So I highly recommend checking out his original stuff because he's really good. He's really creative. But this is his latest, and it's fun, and we're going to check it out. Hear when it kicks. Fun stuff. Very cool. And his covers are nothing like his original material. His original material is like brutal and awesome. It's a cover. It's got to kind of go to how it goes, I guess. But talented dude, definitely pay him a visit if you can. Have I dropped it in there already? I think I did. Little double check. Bandcamp. No, I didn't. Here we go. Bam. Bam. Oh, no. That's the wrong one. Bam. It's coming. Here it goes. Here we go. Control V or Command V. I just call it all control. They're all the buttons are just control buttons. Anyway, there we go with that one. So we're going to move along here. Oh, I'm still in the small camera. Whoa. No, here we go. Seems like I don't know how to control the camera. I'm going to reset the gain and minus 7.5. Great. So a lot of people in the chat. It's nice to see. Yeah, some of you guys know the Carly Rae tune already. I don't know Carly Rae, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but it does sound like it's pretty big pop star, I'm going to guess. But we're moving along to the next one because we're running out of time. And we still got a lot to rip through. This one is, I think some of us, at least from the Bandless, are definitely going to know this character. This is the almighty Calvaire. And Calvaire recently, he kind of made a name for himself in the extreme deathcore kind of, I'm not exactly sure what to call the genre, extremely heavy core breakdown, slow, gnarly kind of stuff. And his personal interest is more in a sort of crossover with, the, what do you call it? Industrial kind of vibes. So this here is one of his first public sharings of a full track of that kind of thing. We're not going to get through the whole track. It's a little bit longer here. It's like 3 minutes, 34 seconds, but we're going to listen to a minute of it and get crushed. So here we go. This is Calvaire, and he's coming to us from Zambia, by the way, which is even cooler. Because how much music like this is coming from Zambia? I'm pretty sure he's actually from Zambia, and it's not like a joke. Anyway, yeah, very cool artist. Definitely worth checking into. Very cool. I'm not really tied in or tuned in to like this world of music whatsoever, but I just find the guy so, I don't know, capable, so talented. I think talented is not the right word, because I think he does a lot of work. Like, I think he works at it hard. So it's not like, I think when you say people are talented, it kind of makes them sound like a superhero or whatever. And I think this guy just works really hard. And yeah, it shows. He produces everything in Fruity Loops, like what is it, FL Studio, and yeah, fantastic sound quality, fantastic compositions, very interesting. Very interesting. Gunky Zip, you need headphones. You're on headphones now. This needs a proper stereo speaker thing. Yeah, it's. I'm on pretty decent headphones, so it's translating, but it definitely, you feel the weight of it when it's on decent speakers. And his other material, like this is a light tune for this guy. That's the funny part. Anyway, C920, the big camera, going back to the big camera, resetting the gain. And what do we got here? 7.5. Moving along, we've got, this one's another really cool one. Got a lot of cool tracks tonight, a lot of variety, which is nice. I make music that is like mostly heavy-ish, but this, for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, it can be any kind of music. we really celebrate the solo creator, but it doesn't even have to be the solo creator, just something that the community is involved with, and celebrating art and creativity and music. And like, you know, making music is better than not making music. Even if you stink at it, you don't get better at it unless you do a bit of stinking first. So if you're worried about that kind of stuff, don't worry about it. Just make stuff and share it with us. And we're going to have a party and hang out and listen to it. So moving along, we've got Mr. Flynn, Flynn's Ego on Instagram. But Lamond Sutherland, he's a fella who's into a whole bunch of different kinds of music, but there's definitely, you can tell there's a bit of a jazz rock fusion kind of influence going on in there. I think we've spoken briefly about various things, but that's the gist I get. This one here is dedicated to Philip Glass, as we can see. Am I getting a highlight there? Whoa, I sure am. But anyway, without further ado, this is The Hours by Flynn. Getting carried away here, getting lost in the tune. Really cool. It's definitely a journey. Every time I listen to a Flynn jam, I highly recommend, if you have the time, to go through his profile. He's got a lot of interesting music on there. And this is actually an older track, but because I didn't really know about the profile before, I'm kind of, you know, it's, I think a year ago. Yeah. 29th, November 29th, 2021. But, yeah, trying to help, expose it to the world, cause it's really cool material, really cool artist. And as far as I know, he does everything. Lamond, we never really talked about that, but it sounds like real drums. Are those real drums? Are you playing them? You got those alternating ghost note, you know, alternating ghosty beats going on. I like it. I like it a lot. I love those ghost notes. Anyhow, big camera time, resetting the gain. You guys dig that? I think folks were pretty into the last time we shared a Lamond track. What do we got here? Really like the spacing of the spacing of the instruments. Yeah, totally. I saw this comment here. Marauder Music says, as Bunn said, this is easy listening for him. Going back to the, whatchamacallit, the Calvaire track. Yeah, it's like, that was a light track for him. He usually, like, it's so friggin' heavy that you just get crushed. But back to Flynn here. Flynn's track, I really love that kind of like jazzy kind of stuff. Flynn, if you're in there, Lamond, it's Lamond. He says he does all the things. Okay. So he plays every instrument, which is great. That's cool. And where are you coming from with the sort of, where does the sort of frame of mind where does it get its motivation? Is it more from the jazz world, or is it from kind of a math rock kind of thing? Are you really into Tortoise? Yeah, I'd love to know kind of, I don't need your full influences list. I just want to get a sense of like where you're coming from, because don't hear a lot of people going this direction these days, and it's rich. It's rich with tasty flavors. So, yeah, awesome work. We're gonna move along, and this one here. Are we reset? We're reset. Great. This one here is coming to us from a regular in the stream. Good old Rosal. Rosie's got a track here, and yeah, it's a shorty, but usually drenched with vibes. Not vibes the instrument, vibes the feeling. So let's see what Rose has got for us today, and it's from the Melodies for the Lullaby for My Cherished Child series. This is sort of like a volume of music. As far as I understand, as far as I've experienced. But here we go. Yeah, a lot of vibes going on there. I don't know. It always kind of takes me somewhere vulnerable, I guess, would be the best way to describe it. Cool. I guess I could have almost played the whole thing. It's like a minute 30. But the link is in there. Definitely follow up. There's a lot of that kind of material going on. It's all different on Rose's profile. And yeah, really been slugging it out. Very nice work, Rose. Going back to the big camera, got to start ripping through some of these here. But yeah, Rose is always in the community. And by the way, I'm going to drop that in there. I have this prepared, sort of prepared. I'm talking about this community all the time, and some people might be like, what is this community, the bandless community that you keep talking about, Bunn? Well, let me tell you, that's the link for it. That link expires. So if you're interested in being part of the Bunn Discord, or not the Bunn Discord, the Bandless Discord, it's a place, it's a community for people who are bandless, but you don't have to be bandless. But it's really kind of geared towards people who do it all themselves, and it's like I don't know, not a support network, but people help each other out. People do collaborations, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's a place for people to connect and exchange their ideas regarding all of this stuff, all this music stuff. So that's that. And if you're interested, get involved. Next one, another some more pals from the community. Have not kept in touch with these fellas lately. And this is not the latest from them, but I've never played it. And I always meant to, but somehow I missed it. So, let's do this. And this is Sumo. They're from Scotland, or sorry, not Scotland, Miami, Florida. What am I talking about? Bam, 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 bam. I believe Lamond is from Scotland. There we go. 7.5. Great. So we're going to play LB1. These guys are instrumental. They're kind of doing their own kind of sound. It's like heavy-ish, but they're not a metal band, but they're heavy, but not always heavy. Yeah, it's just cool vibes. We're going to play a little bit of this track, and hopefully you like it. These folks were connected via the Bunn community, the Bunn Discord. And I am actually going to skim this track a little bit. Sometimes I skim tracks to get to the part, or maybe I won't. Maybe we're going to get there soon enough. They kind of got their own thing going, you know, there's something familiar about it, but it's also very unique, and it's very subtle why it's unique, but it really is. Really enjoy what they're doing there. It's kind of, in a way, minimalist. Not all of it. Some of it is very kind of layered and interconnected and whatnot. But another interesting thing about these guys is like just their overall art direction. I think it's very inspiring, at least to me. This is their website, and it's just like everything's so well done and put together, and I just really kind of enjoy what they're doing. So hopefully that's a treat for some of you guys, probably a new thing, but Sumo from Miami, Florida. But bam. So 8:49. Okay, we're almost at the end here. So this is one more track by the ever popular, all powerful Kazuki Hiratani. And this is a cover tune, Billionaire by Kazuki, and it's a fun one. So we're gonna listen to a little bit of that one, and then we got one more track, and then we're gonna just hang out in the chat for a little bit, and yeah, be pals.
I wanna be a billionaire so freaking bad. Buy all of the things I never had. I wanna be on the cover of Forbes magazine, smiling next to Oprah and the Queen. Oh, every time I close my eyes, I see my name in shining lights. Yeah, a different city every night. Oh, I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire.
Yeah, I would have a show like Oprah. I would be the host of Everyday Christmas. Get trapped in your wish list. I'd probably pull an Angelina and Brad Pitt and adopt a bunch of babies that ain't ever had shit. Give away a few Mercedes like, here lady, have this. And last but not least, grant somebody their last wish. It's been a couple months that I've been single, so you can call me Travis Claus, minus the ho-ho. Get it? I'll probably visit with Katrina here, and damn sure do a lot more than FEMA did. Yeah, can't forget about me, stupid. Everywhere I go, I'ma have my own thing. Every time I close my eyes.
Nice. That's fun, Kazuki. That's really it's crazy. Anyhow, so there you have it. So that's all the tracks from the community. And I usually go last if I have a track, and I do have a track of my own today. We'll share a little bit about, but Kazuki's link is in the chat, and he's in the chat. So if you like what Kazuki's doing, get in touch with him. He's an awesome dude, rad dude to like link up with, and like I say, the depth of his catalog in terms of the styles and the dimensions of it are really interesting. And he's a stellar dude. So yeah, check that out. But yeah, last one on the chopping block is the Bunn. I released this today for Bandcamp Friday, as many folks did. What is it? 7.5. There we go. Tune is called Transplant. It is the third installment from what will become the next Foreigns EP. And previous two tracks were Cornucopia and Harvest. But what I'm discovering about doing this whole Foreigns thing is the sound I started with is not the sound I have now. There's things that are very similar between them, but I think Foreigns is becoming something else, which is not a bad thing. I think, projects should probably evolve. But you can judge for yourself what it all is, but I just find it interesting how distant it is from where it started. Here we go. Transplant. Have it. New track by the Bunn. Link, I think I already dropped it in there. I clearly do not pay attention to what I'm doing. Link is in there. And I don't know. I'm curious in terms of outsiders who happen to know more about the Foreigns catalog, if like how different it sounds to an outsider perspective from the original stuff, the Metropolitan EP. It has been a kind of gradual shift, but it's interesting just as an artist, be like, how'd I end up here? But I'm going to dig into the chat. That's it for today there. I guess the only other thing to kind of like mention is like, I'd like to thank everyone with us over at Patreon that kind of makes this whole thing happen. And it's a small but mighty Patreon, and there really are no perks significantly. It's just, if you care to help this whole thing along, it'd be appreciated. No pressure. We've got it. We put it out there. But I want to get into the chat here, and there's a couple things I kind of want to follow up with that I brought up a little bit earlier. So I was asking Lamond about kind of like what the stuff was that kind of influenced his music writing, and he definitely is a Tortoise fan. Kazuki sidebar, he's like, he likes Neapolitan ice cream, but with sprinkles on it. Meaning he likes a wide variety of things in terms of his music, and I guess also in his listening. And Marauder, chromatic vibes from a Kubrick film. Sounds really big while at the same time being mega introverted. Cool. Some crazy vibes there. Yeah, you guys like the Rose track? That's cool. Kazuki legit started transporting to another dimension. Actually, I think, Kazuki, did you not have something to do with that Rosal track? I'm going to double check here. Collaboration with Bandcamp Ambience? Huh. Not too sure. I seem to remember reading that. I had some notes, but I don't know where I saved them. Classic. Anyway, I'm looking here. I don't see anything. It does say Alexandro Bandcamp additional ambience. Is that you, Kazuki? No, Alexandro is, I think, one of your pals that you work with. I'm not too sure. Anyway, fill us in the comments. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's this release. And typically Rosal works solo, but there is a collaborator on this particular track, which I did not mention when we were streaming it. I apologize. Anyway, catching up with a little bit more of the chat here. Marauder music. Yes. Music like that creeping around music, second half of Full Metal Jacket. Yeah. Oh damn. It's bouncy. Okay. And that's bouncy, sludgy as hell. Yeah. It's missing the Black Sabbath take from 1970. Very Deftones feel right now. Is that? I wasn't keeping up with it in real time. So is that, whose track are we talking about there? Not totally sure, but that's okay. So getting very intellectual and tight. Is this for Bunn? This EP is gonna, I guess so. This EP is gonna be Fire Surely Gotta Crush Us with the Brutals with the final song on it, Bunn. Yeah, hopefully I'll have one brutal thing on it. But if not, then so be it. The music tells me how it has to be written. I don't really decide. I just try to listen, and when I hear the right thing, I'm like, I guess you have spoken. Cranky Dragon says, evolving as an artist is a good thing. Otherwise, you end up with the last 10 to 15 years of the Slayer catalog. Yeah. I really appreciate Slayer's work. They definitely have a few standouts for me. I'm sure, depending on when you're born, when you kind of discover Slayer is going to have a huge effect or a huge impact on what you identify with the band. I definitely like Rain and Blood, South of Heaven, and Seasons in the Abyss. Those are my favorites. Important band, but yes, they definitely, their sound was very strong, and it was hard to stay totally interested in new material as things went along. Not to the fault of the band or anything. It just, unfortunately, kind of what happens with that scenario. Another great example would be AC/DC. AC/DC is a great band, but they've made a lot of records that sound pretty similar, like pretty much like the same record over and over again. There's a few standouts like Thunder. I don't know if it's called Thunder, but the one like Thunder, that's actually a very different kind of approach for AC/DC. Prior to that tune, they never really did anything like that, but there's always outliers. But yeah, it's I agree with you. Like evolving in any creative project, really in anything in life, is kind of important. Gunky Zip, as I said privately, the drums just take me places. Yeah, I appreciate that. I like the drums to be, I don't know, interesting to me. So it's awesome if they're interesting to someone else. I try to go for a mix of like drums that are interesting to me, but still quite pragmatic, like quite practical in terms of serving the part, not really overplaying, even if it has like a busy feel. I don't go for flashy fills or anything like that. I could, it's pretty easy when you're programming everything, but I try to play it the way that I would actually play it. So I appreciate the interest in that. Lamond Sutherland says, this sounds like a more introspective and measured development of the motives in cornucopia, like the second movement of a broader work. Oh, cool. Ed Sweetman says that the Bunn tracks also fit the others. So that's cool. Yeah, it's always hard to say. I don't know how you guys feel about it in your own work, but like, I feel like it's very hard to be very objective about anything I make. It gets easier as time goes on. I don't know if this is the case for anybody else, but like the further you are away from something, the more objective you can be about it. Stands to reason. That sounds like a very, reasonable model for psychology. But not that I know anything about psychology, but Kazuki says the Neapolitan ice cream with sprinkles is how he describes Lamond Sutherland's musical catalog. So much variety in textures and timbres. Yeah, but it fits together. That's actually a really interesting point, Kazuki. Lamond's stuff, like just to remind folks of what that is, the hour. This release or this artist, Lamond is in the stream or in the chat right now, but the musical catalog is very diverse, and there's a lot of a lot of distance traveled, a lot of terrain covered, and what's interesting about that to me as a person who makes music is how diverse that is, but how tied together it is with like a personality and a sort of central kind of art concept. Like it has this it's artistically bound, and it all sounds connected. It sounds like the same artist. I think that's hard to do when you travel that much territory. I'm curious, Lamond, like how you navigate that, like how you feel about that. Personally, like as the person creating it, is it a bit of a struggle? Is it kind of, you just follow like I do, like I just follow the music, and the music tells me what it needs to be ultimately. But, yeah, I'm curious, always curious how other artists think about it all. And Kazuki says, now that was Alex. Okay. So the, whatchamacallit, the collaborator in whatchamacallit. You like that word? Whatchamacallit? The collaborator in Rizal's track was in fact Alejandro. And I believe Alejandro and Kazuki are pals. They've collaborated on music together themselves. So yeah, cool. Right. He even says it right in the chat here. Cranky Dragon says, don't get me wrong, there is some Slayer I still love. Yeah. Slayer. There's some Slayer that's fantastic. It's always, I find it weird whenever I meet someone who's like, I hate Slayer, and they like heavier music. But I guess, it's one of those things you kind of had to be there. And Kazuki Hiratani, I think you're talking about your 11-year-old self. And you just went with it. You're talking about Slayer. Not exactly sure. AC/DC actually made fun of themselves on that. Yeah, I think they did, Cranky Dragons. And Kazuki, AC/DC may have a lot of similar songs, but they have so many hits, so it must be working. Yeah, like I'm not complaining about AC/DC. They're a good band. But yeah, they definitely have a knack for repeating themselves, which is fine. I think, one of the things that's interesting about being an artist, or even on the fan side of things, especially when it comes to niches, fans of niche music tend to be highly opinionated and tend to share their opinions quite loudly. But it's very popular to sort of talk about these things from a perspective of judgment. I'm not at all. I'm just talking about the obvious things that are actually happening. I'm talking about the mechanics of it. I'm not talking from judgment. But, a band like AC/DC, they repeat themselves a lot. Is that a judgment that they shouldn't do that? No, that is just an observation. And I think that is a thing, like, if it is your art direction as an artist, if it is your strategy as an artist, then make it your strategy. The cool thing about music is you can do it any way you want. And cool thing about art in general, all art. Music is maybe extra special as an art form, but maybe I'm biased there, but yeah, it's a good idea, I think anyway, to kind of just like be open to how other people do it. And if they're doing it in a way that you don't like, you don't have to listen to it. And that's easy enough. So, but yeah, AC/DC is doing their thing. There's a bunch of tunes they do that I really like, and I love their tone. Their tone is amazing. They sound so good. It's all those Marshall Plexis that they blow up every night. So crazy. Kazuki Hiratani, yeah, he does the timestamps for the stream. Thank you, Kazuki. That's a lot of work. Phil's a German. Whoa, first time I catch it live, 3 a.m. here, and I've been involuntary drunkard. Phil's the German. Phil's a German. I'm going to shout you out. He's an amazing vocalist, short on time, but possibly available in terms of like heavier vocals and whatnot. And hopefully Phil's the German and myself might get into something involving vocals at some point. We'll see. But amazing to see you, Phil, in the chat. Always a good time, man. And Marauder saying hello to everyone's saying hello to Phil. Gunky said, Lamond, do I have an answer to your question, Bandless? But it'd take me a few paragraphs to answer. Yeah, okay. We'll grab a WhatsApp call or a Signal call. I don't know, something like that someday soon. And we'll chat all about it. Kazuki got kicked out of a band trying to play Slayer. Trying to play that kind of drum style. That's funny. Kazuki says music is the only truly global language. I definitely agree. Well, music and mathematics, yeah, amazing things. And music is highly dependent on math. And music might be the audio representation of the phenomenon of mathematics, which is actually interesting to think about. I never really thought about it exactly that way before. But yeah, we're getting into deep stuff here. Anyway, Cranky Dragon message retracted. Cranky Dragon, what's going on? Are you doing what do you call it? Typos? Talk about sounding the same. The Ramones. Titanosaur. Yeah, but I like the Ramones, and I appreciate their sameness. They definitely sound very much the same over and over again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 da. Like you could probably just hum anything Ramones-ish, and it's probably a Ramones song. But yeah, I like the Ramones. They're a fun band. Ed Sweetman loves what everybody's doing, keeping it up. Ed Sweetman has a track in the works. He was working on it yesterday, but it's not ready. Was not ready for today because Ed Sweetman also builds basses and guitars, and he's a career man and he has children, and it's tough to fit it all in. But next Bandcamp Friday, whether Bandcamp has an official Bandcamp Friday or not, we're still doing it. First Friday of the month, Bandcamp Friday live stream will be in effect. So I hope to see you in there. Ed, it's like, yeah. And we're going to talk about your basses in that next time you drop a track as well. Ed builds stuff, crazy builders. Marauder Music says, second, please, if you have not already, support via the Patreon. Oh, I shout out for Marauder. Thank you, Marauder, for the good deal, the good deeds. Cathedral Sound, hello. I think you're brand new, and if you were speaking earlier, I apologize if I missed it. But deep cuts, yeah. And Titanosaur. Ooh, I wonder if that fart picked up on microphone. Apologies. Excuse me. It was pretty loud. But you're a huge Ramones fan, yeah. They're just fun. You know, something that I kind of came back to as I got older. This is quite a while now, like for the last 10 or 15 years. But I went through a phase of being like very specific and very sort of judgmental about music, and I don't know, kind of negative. And, you know, I still have kind of strong opinions about certain things, but they're my opinions and I keep them for myself, and I don't broadcast my opinions of what other people are doing artistically. I think if you're doing music, I think that's an amazing thing, and it's really hard to do music. And even if you're doing music that I don't like, I think that's amazing. So with the Ramones thing, you know, when I was a kid, I'm curious how many people kind of identify with this thing, this idea. But when I was a kid, like I loved that kind of stuff. I loved punk rock, and it didn't have to be artistically specific. Arguably, Ramones is artistically specific, but it didn't have to appeal specifically to my innermost tastes, my innermost, artistic desires. And I just liked music, or I didn't. And then as I got more involved with music, I got, I don't know, more sort of jaded about it in those ways where it's like, it had to be this or it had to be that. And I'd get all up in a tizzy about it. And then at some point I just kind of saw myself and I got frustrated with that. I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. You know, music's awesome. And yeah, I want to like things. And just because it's not the kind of music I'm playing or that I'm involved in personally, if it's fun, especially like the Ramones, like have fun, enjoy it. And yeah, I'm curious how many of you cats maybe went through that sort of cycle. I think it's a common cycle, especially amongst musicians. Maybe it's a more difficult cycle for fans because your perspective isn't maybe as whole. Maybe it is, but I think if you're just a fan, there's something about being kind of on the inside and being able to create music that, you know, it works against you for a while, but it also maybe at some point really opens you up. Or if you're, you know, a very special person, an indigo child, you're just amazing. You're just open all the time. who knows? Phil's the German says, hey, Scott, it seems I seem to have like 5-minute time delay here. Just had the shadow on my screen. Hopefully I will get some fiberglass internet in January or February. Yeah, I want fiber internet. There's a delay here. I have a delay set on my end. I think it's 10 seconds. It's sort of like the medium delay level of the broadcast. So, and that's probably compounded by just internet like IP protocol, whatever, like internet latency and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, no worries on that, but definitely fiber would be a lot more instantaneous. I want to get fiber in here for sure. And Kazuki's talking about Elemeno P. Oh, I get it. That's funny. I want to hear this band. I'm going to seek it out. They also wrote the official COVID-19 anthem, Verona. That's hilarious. Ed Sweetman says his track should be ready next month. Still learning the whole recording thing. It is going faster this time though. Yeah. The hardest track is the very first track, but also the most exciting track is the very first track. Because when it's done, you're like, holy shit, I made this? That's crazy. Especially, as a solo creator, you're not relying on anyone else. You're not working on anyone else. Your motivation is like purely rests on yourself. So some days you don't even feel like doing it, but then you get into it and you're like, oh, this is awesome. All that stuff. Marauder Music says, it always amazes him that Iron Maiden grew from punk. Yeah, I feel like they always had a punk edge to them, even in the very end. They definitely became like heavy metal icons, but I think they always had that punk energy, especially in the sort of rhythm end of things. And Kazuki punk rock was huge for me as a kid. Yeah, I love punk. Punk is maybe the most important music to me, which is weird because I don't know. It's just weird. Lamond said, Cranky Dragon says Ramones were just stripped down rock and roll, played fast. Yeah. The down picking in the Ramones is just kind of obscene. I don't know if anyone's ever like actually looked at his wrist, the way, like it's very consistent and it's very fast and it's all down picking. It sounds like it's back and forth, but it's not. And Lamont says he's gone through various iterations of that kind of cycle, meaning, the whole thing of like being totally open to the world of music, then kind of getting really closed and picky about it, and then kind of opening up. And he's gone through a few varieties of that. And yeah, I think that's the path for us as musicians. And Titanosaur says, as a kid, punk that flowed into thrash as a teen and then industrial in my 20s. Yeah, that's cool. Cathedral Sound, no clean vocals, bro. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely had that phase. I was like, yeah, I don't want to ever hear singing ever again. But now I love singing. And I loved singing in the very beginning. So yeah, we're funny that way. Definitely went through a music snob elitist phase. Yeah, I think we all do. I think maybe it makes us better in some ways. Cranky Dragon says, if it was anything else, it wouldn't have been the Ramones. Marauder Music, the new Metallica makes me wonder if they are seeing the start of a thrash revival. Well, yeah, there has been a thrash revival now for a couple of years. I think it started shortly before the whole COVID thing, like maybe a year before that, kind of an underground thrash revival. But now, bands like Anthrax never really changed their sound. They had like one record that was kind of an alternative record, but they kind of kept to that Anthrax thrashy sound. And they're touring like crazy right now. I think Testament, same thing. But there's a whole bunch of new bands. And whenever I've been to a few shows that are kind of like more thrash oriented, and it's astonishing how many 20-year-olds there are with the patch vests, and like they look like thrash kids. But, thrash happened 25 years ago. Longer. Thrash happened when I was a teenager. So 30 years ago. So yeah, it's pretty cool. There's definitely a revival. Sweetman says, Bunn, I still remember you recording my high school punk band No Guff in my parents' basement, amps stuffed under couch cushions and stuff like that. Then the punk shows were wild. Yeah, I guess I never really talk about that, but that was where I got started. And I think, Ed, your band might have been like the first or second other band that I recorded. And I remember how it happened. So one of you guys called me out of the blue. I don't know how it connected, how anyone even knew that I did recording and that I had a 4-track. But yeah, someone called me and they're like, can you record us? We have like $80 or $40. I don't know. It was like, had some money. And I was like, yeah. I'm like, when? They're like, in an hour or something like that. It was like that day. I'm like, yeah. So I went and I recorded your band. It turned out really well too. It was quite good for a 4-track, like, no planning, just go. People inexperienced with recording, and yeah, it turned out really great. It was wild. And yeah, I used to run all the punk shows in my hometown, and me and my crew, we were the first ones to kind of do it and then do it consistently. Eventually that torch passed probably within a couple of years, but yeah, Ed was part of that. But Phil's German, people underestimate recording a lot. I think it is just as much work as learning another instrument. It takes about as much time and practice to get really good at it. Don't give up. I'm not sure exactly which that connects to in the chat or discussion, but it's definitely true. I think there's this how should I say it? I think there's a confusion or like a conflation, like it's conflated with, the recording technology has become a lot easier and a lot more accessible, but that doesn't mean that recording is easy and accessible. It's only accessible if you can do it. But it's definitely accessible if you want to get into it. But if you have to record something and it has to be pretty good and you've never recorded anything, there's a slim chance that the very first time that it's going to turn out all that good. Some people get lucky. Some people have amazing ears. Some people are just tuned into it, but that's anomalous. That's way out in the fringes. But yeah, definitely like kind of stick to it. Hold on one second, dudes. I'm probably going to shut the stream down, but there's somebody at the door. Give me a second. I'm still on the internet. I'm going to shut it down. Yeah. It's Artie Washko at the door, the man behind Self-Inflatable, the graphic talent of the century. We're going to hang out, listen to tunes, maybe have a few soda pops, and have a Friday night. But ending off on kind of what Phil's talking about is recording stuff. The technology is very accessible, but give yourself some time. Like if you need to record something well today and you're like, I'll just buy a recording setup, probably buy the recording setup, but like, don't put that pressure on yourself to be amazing at it in one day. It takes a little bit. It's easier than ever, but that doesn't mean it's easy specifically. Very good point. Cathedral Sound is editing guitars as he speaks. Hoping to get on Bandcamp Friday for the new year. Yes, please do it. Titanosaur says he studied Johnny's down picking. That's how he plays. Oh man, the wrist of doom. And locked in with those straight. Yeah, I think the Ramones were a pretty good band. Very simple band, but very locked in. Anyhow, I'm going to shut this down, dudes. Artie's here. It's time to party. Party rhymes with Artie. Hope you guys are well. I'm going to shut it down. And yeah, we're going to be doing this in January, first Friday of January. I'm going to actually quickly, before I sign off, look at what date that is. Because if it's New Year's Eve, I don't know if I will do that. No, the first Friday of January is Friday, January 6th. So yeah, we'll be returning then. So get your tracks together. And, I had Rizal's thing up the whole time. Well, it's good promotion. Anyway, apologies, but it's not a big deal. It's not a negative or anything. So yeah, I'm heading out. Have a good weekend and a good month, and get your tracks together. Don't be shy. Don't worry about being perfect. Done is better than perfect. I should take that, that to heart for myself. Anyway, we're going to shut her down. Have an amazing night.